This is tough. It's very, very tough, and I'll tell you why. So, this is the point of the year where seemingly every few hours there's a new trade rumor, there's a new link, there's a new team that's involved in a player, and it becomes a little bit difficult to try to narrow down what topics to talk about because, hey, we can make a video about how the Islanders want Tarasenko, we can make a video about the Adam Henrique situation. We can talk about Frank Vetrano and the Rangers. We can talk about, Anthony Mantha, the Oilers. We can talk about all these new conversations that have been brought into the spotlight over the past few days. But the thing is, because there's so many gosh darn new trade ideas, it's really tough to make videos about all of them. So I have to kind of pick and choose which ones I want to talk about the most because at this point, it's so saturated with trade talk that we kind of have to look for other factors to decide what to talk about, and in this video, we're going over one of those other factors. I have not shut up about this guy ever since his name was included in trade ideas a few days ago, but today, we're heading over to the New Jersey Devils and talking once again about forward Tyler Toffoli. Because, holy moly, Tyler Toffoli is 31 years old. He is still an expiring UFA to be, expires at the end of the season, making $4.25 million a year, and he's got himself 42 points in 58 games played this year. He's been a very versatile player. Can play in the top line, can play in the middle of the lineup, can be a versatile goal scorer, and a very solid player along the boards. Tyler Toffoli is a finisher, a defensively minded, slow-ish kind of forward who doesn't play with the best pace, but who still has very good hockey playing skill. He's got the brain, he's got the grit, he can play physical if he needs to, but more so than that, Tyler Toffoli is just a pure finisher. And so, I've been talking this entire time about how my Vancouver Canucks, I would love to see a baby come back Tyler Toffoli reunion in Van City, but today's article we're going over talks about how there's another team that wants him back. And no, it's not a team from Canada this time. Take a look at this piece made by the Fourth Period from February 28th. The Kings are interested in a Tyler Toffoli reunion. And yeah, some of y'all might be asking, because of the momentum the LA Kings built up from yesterday's win against the Vancouver Canucks, I kind of want to capitalize on that. Let's make a video about them here. As the LA Kings evaluate their options around the trade market for a scoring winger, GM Rob Blake appears to have interest in a familiar face. As the Fourth Period reported on Tuesday, Blake started exploring the league after forward Adrian Kempe went down with an injury on Monday and had an MRI on Tuesday to properly assess the extent of his injury. If Kempe is out for the rest of the season, the Kings plan on using his $5.5 million cap hit to add a scorer up front. Now, when it comes to Tyler Toffoli, the Fourth Period's David Pagnotta reported on Wednesday that one player the Kings have shown interest in is forward Tyler Toffoli, and the tweet is included here. The Devils sit 5 points back of a playoff spot in the East. Their next few games will factor into what they do with right-wing Tyler Toffoli, who's on an expiring deal. If they entertain inquiries, could an LA reunion be in the cards? The word is, the Kings have expressed interest. Now, when it comes to Adrian Kempe leaving the lineup, I'm very happy about that, not because I like to see guys get hurt, but because the guy I'm playing this week in fantasy does have Kempe. Yeah, Lego, shut up about your fantasy team challenge 2024, impossible, I get it. But Adrian Kempe has been a very good player this year. He's got 51 points in 57 games played, a point per game guy, just under for LA. He really has exploded offensively the past few years. I mean, 41 goals last year. Literally a half a goal a game guy. You cannot go out there and predict that. So this is a pretty big loss for the LA Kings, and making $5.5 million a year till the end of 2026, he's a very big bargain player as well. If you're able to get a player like Tyler Toffoli, use Kempe on your IR until the start of the playoffs, and then reactivate him once that postseason begins, that could be a huge, huge way to navigate around this season. And I think the LA Kings, with the way they've started to bounce back a little bit in the standings as of late, it's more than likely that they'll probably be able to make the playoffs. I mean, they're not in a locked spot right now, they're in the wild card, but they're still all right. The Kings are in a safe enough spot that I feel like they have the right to afford losing Kempe till the rest of the year. So, hey, why not use those LTIR dollars? Why not get a guy like Tyler Toffoli? Why not go out there and reunite this team and bring everything back together. I'm not saying go out there and get Jeff Carter and get Tanner Pearson. I mean, those two guys, you could debate whether or not they're also on the trade block, Tanner Pearson especially, but for Tyler Toffoli in particular, I mean, I'm just thinking about the idea of him and Fiala playing together. Like, man oh man, I'm thinking about this from the perspective of my Vancouver Canucks because, wow, they have such a difficult time shutting down both Fiala and Toffoli every time they play in Rogers Arena that if you were to put them on the same team in LA, that would be such a nightmare for the inevitable first-round matchup that Vancouver and LA is going to have. Like, Canucks are going to lose in 6 straight up if that happens. Toffoli and Fiala and then Kempe coming back, like, Vancouver stands no chance, especially with the way they've been playing lately. Man, I don't like this idea, but if you're an LA Kings fan, I honestly don't think it's a bad one. Like, what other box is there that you need to check out? Like, sure, you could debate that Toffoli may not be, like, the best asset on the market right now, but remember when he was traded initially? Like, a lot of Kings fans were pretty sad, not upset and disappointed that they traded him away, but just sad that his time in LA had come to an end. That was 5 years ago now, and I remember it very clearly. Kings fans were sad, saying, yeah, you know, it sucks to see him go, but we had to do it. We were not really doing all too well, and his contract was valuable, and he was gonna be a free agent rental for some other team, and so we got ourselves Tyler Madden, Tim Schaller, and a draft pick. So thank you, Tyler Toffoli, for your services. It sucks to see you leave, but it needed to be done. And now it's like, hey, we could bring him back. He may be available. We've heard conversations about Vancouver potentially being in there. There are some other teams that could toss their name into the forefront, but LA, this is the one that I think makes the most sense. I would love to see an LA Kings trade with Tyler Toffoli, especially hearing that they want it to happen too. Like, if the Kings themselves are asking for Tyler Toffoli, that makes things even more cool. Plus, what other history is there that you need? Like, the guy won a Stanley Cup with the gosh darn Kings in 2014. He was such a storied figure on this team a few years ago. And he's producing at the best rate he's ever had. Not including, of course, that last year's season where he had 70 points. But his production nowadays is actually better than all the production he had with LA, Vancouver, and Montreal. So if you're a fan of the LA Kings or the New Jersey Devils, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the idea of a Toffoli trade to LA. What is it, if you're a Devils fan, that you would want in exchange for Toffoli? If you're a Kings fan, what's the most you'd be willing to give up? And just overall, if you're an LA Kings fan, do you think Toffoli straight up replaces Kempe's spot in the lineup? Toffoli can play both wings, so there is versatility there, but right now, I mean, if you wanted to talk about where he'd slot in, do you want to take Alex Turcotte off of that first line? Play Toffoli with Kopitar and Byfield? Maybe have Trevor Moore move down a spot? Jared Anderson-Dolan? I mean, Brent Clark was playing forward a little bit last game, which was kind of weird. So maybe move everything around and put that guy back on D. Who really knows? It's odd in LA right now, and Tyler Toffoli can fix that. So if you're a fan of the Kings, fan of the Devils, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, the article on the fourth period will be linked in the comment section, or not the comment section, the description below. There's a few extra things that are talked about in there that we didn't really highlight in this video, so if you want the extra content, go back over onto the fourth period. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the LA Kings wanting Tyler Toffoli back. If you're a fan, do you agree with this? If you don't agree with this, let me know in the comment section why that is. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.